Breaking news out of Bronzeville. A person is hurt following a stabbing on a CTA train.
And business owners come together to urge Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the city's hemp ban.
And get ready for some warmer temperatures and plenty of sunshine to kick off the weekend.
Just in time for Valentine's Day weekend. Happy Friday to you, and then thanks for joining us on Good Day Chicago. I'm Brian Jackson.
I'm Anthony Polensa. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, sir. Right over there, serving up a really great weekend, it sounds like.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, both days are going to be well into the 50s, and we'll start the 50s run today. Good day to get outside, maybe give the dog an extra long walk out there with temperatures headed into the 50s. It'll be warming into the 30s already by 9 o'clock. Plenty of sunshine. At noon, 47 at a time of year where the normal high is about 35. It'll be 50 at 4 o'clock, just a little bit below the high of the day. It's 26, though, right now. That's the temperature at O'Hare. Not much wind, so the wind chill's about the same as the actual air temperature. But you still need a winter coat out there this morning with temperatures like these. We've got 26 at Waukegan, only 17 at Sugar Grove, 25 at LaSalle, Peru, 24 at Maryville, headed today for highs in the low 50s. All right, which one of you gentlemen is handling the traffic?
That would be me.
Go get him,
my fine feathered friend. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, sir. Everything looking great on the area expressways. All your inbound expressways in the green. It's a 25-minute ride from O'Hare to downtown, a 22-minute ride inbound on the Eisenhower from Route 390 to downtown, only 21 minutes on the Stevenson from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and just 18 minutes inbound on the Dan Ryan from 95th to downtown. And even better, and this is a change from the last couple of days, no issues on the Metra as of 5:01. All right, some breaking news this morning. A stabbing happened on the Green Line, CTA Green Line.
Roseanne is live this morning at the 2nd District Police Station with the latest details. Roseanne?
Well, yes, that CTA passenger was stabbed in the face, but we're told he is in fair condition today. This call coming into police at about 10:45 last night. Now, police responded to the Cottage Grove stop on the Green Line. That's about the 300 block of 47th Street. They say a 44-year-old man was attacked by someone with a sharp object while he was on the train. The suspect took off. Police could be seen investigating on the platform and nearby. But at this point, we really have no other details. Once again, a CTA stabbing on the Green Line Thursday evening. Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
So, Roseanne, do police know exactly who they're looking for this morning?
Well, the only details we have is that it is a male, but given the condition of this victim in fair condition, hopefully he was able to provide a better description. We don't know if perhaps he knew the attacker. These are details that we're waiting to hear sometime this morning.
All right, that is Roseanne reporting this morning. We will wait to see if we can find out more details on that suspect. Thanks so much, Roseanne. Well, business owners, they're calling on Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the ban on intoxicating hemp products. That ban will go into effect in Chicago starting April 1st. Under this ban, many products could be seized and the owner could face thousands of dollars in fines. Business owners said that they welcome safety risk standards and regulations, but they feel banning the hemp business is extreme and could have a negative impact on minority-owned establishments. The Hemp Coalition came together for a rally in order to make one final push to convince city leaders and the public to help them stay alive.
Our entire business would shut down, and that would be very unfortunate. And then we have our employees we'd have to lay off. And then there's other realities where, in my case, I have leases that I'm still obligated for. And being a small business, I can't just walk away from the leases.
Time after time, a lot of minority owners, a lot of small business owners get left behind and not even willing, and we're not even allow them a fair shot.
And business owners also believe alcohol and cannabis industries are putting them out.
The Cook County Public Guardian's Office is criticizing DCFS in the case of 8-year-old Markel Pierce. Pierce is the boy who died in Round Lake Beach. His mother and her boyfriend are facing abuse charges. Prosecutors say the child's mother and the boyfriend engaged in long-term patterns of both mental and physical abuse. DCFS claims that the family was not receiving any services and could not provide any other information because of confidentiality issues. The Cook County Public Guardian says that their response is unacceptable and untrue.
DCFS's statement was very slippery, frankly. It said that the family was not receiving services in the present tense. Well, was it ever receiving services in the past? We don't know. DCFS won't respond. In terms of confidentiality, that is just not true. DCFS has explicit authority under the law to release information when a child that DCFS was involved with has died. DCFS is not being transparent. Why? I can't tell you because we don't have the information.
According to Goldberg, there have been cases where DCFS has released a detailed timeline of its involvement with the family. Nearly 2 weeks in, hundreds of detectives, they are now working on the missing Nancy Guthrie case, with investigators so far receiving thousands of tips.
Caroline Elliott joins us live this morning from Tucson, Arizona, with the latest on this investigation. Good morning.
Good morning, Anthony and Brian. For the first time in this investigation, we're getting a better idea on what the suspect could look like from a new description from the FBI. We're also hearing that the FBI is now increasing that reward to $100,000 for any information on the suspect or the location of Nancy Guthrie.
13 days after Nancy Guthrie disappeared, the FBI releasing more details about the person seen on doorbell surveillance video outside her home. Investigators say they're looking for a man between 5'9" and 5'10" with an average build. And the new description comes after agents with a video forensic analysis unit were seen at Guthrie's home Thursday.
They will get him right down to his shoe size. The idea is they want to build a composite of this suspect.
The FBI also released photos of a backpack similar to the one believed to be worn by the suspect.
Even if it's a pretty common backpack, they can go to the manufacturer, find out where it was sold, find out every store it was sold locally, then go to the stores and pull the data from everyone who bought that backpack as far back as they want to go.
Meanwhile, there's growing tension between local and federal investigators on the ground in Tucson. Fox News has learned the sheriff's department is blocking the FBI from accessing key evidence in this case, including potential DNA evidence. Some experts believe it's now time to change things up.
This should be an investigation, in my estimation, that the FBI should take the lead now.
And the Pima County Sheriff's Department is also asking neighbors in this area to take a closer look at their own doorbell cameras to see if they see anything sketchy at all between January 1st and February 2nd. Anthony, Brian.
All right, thank you, Caroline. All right, time is now 5:07 this morning. Caught on camera, this video shows a robbery happening right in broad daylight in the middle of the Fulton Market neighborhood. This is at the corner of Lake and Peoria near the Mendolas headquarters. Two men robbed the 49-year-old victim, with one of the suspects having a gun. The man then got away in this Range Rover. Anyone with any information is asked to please call Chicago Police. Well, a developing story we're following. The Department of Homeland Security is heading toward a government shutdown after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill for the agency. The shutdown would impact TSA, the U.S. Coast Guard, FEMA, and other divisions. Senate Democrats have demanded immediate reforms to ICE operations and procedures, such as agents taking off their masks and identifying themselves. Republicans, though, have opposed tying policy changes to funding bills, arguing that DHS and ICE should be funded without any conditions. Lawmakers have until the end of the day to avoid another partial government shutdown. But the Cubs continuing to get ready for the regular season with spring training in Arizona.
Yeah, already lofty expectations for the team. Checking in with Mike Kaplan. Hey, with this weekend's weather, they could have held the games
right
and
here.
Play today.
Right here.
They're going to play today at either ballpark there. Well, here's the deal. Cubs are wrapping up day 2 of spring training in Mesa. It happened yesterday. Despite the Game 5 loss in the NLDS, trying to put that out of our memory, to the Brewers last season, it still gave the team a taste of what it's like to make a postseason run. Well, according to Jed Hoyer, in his career, some of the best seasons come after a postseason run that fell short. Ergo, he's expecting big things this year. So the Cubs are now setting out to turn disappointment into motivation as they prepare for the upcoming season, but more importantly, getting back to the playoffs. Our own Tina Wynn got a chance to sit down with Cubs pitcher Matthew Boyd about the team's goals.
The goal last year, obviously, was to win a World Series, and you know, you don't, you know, you put that, you have that goal and you put it on the back shelf and you take care of day after day after day after day. And we did, it was a good season for us, but we left with a definite hunger after coming up short in Milwaukee in Game 5 there, and something that I know that all of us believe we're better now, and we got some awesome dudes in our clubhouse with some new names and faces that are going to help us get there, that are just immensely talented. So we're really excited to get after it.
And I hope that Mr. Boyd has a good season upcoming. Need him to dominate on the mound. Beautiful overnight period. Skies are clear. It's chilly out there, but we have a big warm-up on the way. Coming in this morning, I saw our executive producer, Beth, and she says she wants to get her bike out there. This may not be hers, but this would be a good day to get that bike out, perhaps. More like early April than mid-February. We have 6 days in a row on the way of 50-plus. There will be occasionally some lakeside cooling. Not today, and there's absolutely zero snow in sight, so nothing that looks wintry around here. But, it's chilly out there now. It's 22 at Joliet, 23 at Woodstock. These temperatures close to normal for the morning hours on Friday the 13th in February. 23 at Valparaiso and Michigan City. In Kankakee, it is clear at 23 degrees. All right, let's look at our Weather Authority Futurecast, which shows all the clear skies that we're going to enjoy today. Temperatures are going to shoot up in a hurry under the strength of that sunshine and a nice southwest breeze coming in. Tonight, skies will be clear to partly cloudy. We get into tomorrow, a little bit of cloud cover sneaking in from the north. This is more or less a reflection of the fact there will be a light east component to the wind, which tomorrow should hold temperatures back just a little bit along the lakefront, just as we saw yesterday. Tomorrow night, storm system all week long. I've been saying it is a mist to the south, and it definitely appears that is the case. In fact, we may not even get that much cloud cover from it. Sunday, I think, is an almost perfectly sunny day, and temperatures both tomorrow and Sunday, I think, can get into the mid-50s with perhaps a little deference to being Sunday, the warmer of the 2 days. 52 today, mostly sunny and spectacular. Southwest winds at 5 to 15. Anthony Bryant?
Well, coming up, we continue our coverage of DHS facing a shutdown.
Yes, what we are hearing out of Washington, D.C. when we come back. Welcome back. 5:14 on your Friday morning as we look at some of the top stories we are following for you. A breaking news item out of Bronzeville. Police there are investigating a stabbing that happened on the Green Line train. Police say a 44-year-old man was on a train car when someone injured him with a sharp object before running off. The victim suffered an injury to his face and received help from the fire department. As of now, no arrests have been made.
Business owners are calling on Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the ban on intoxicating hemp products. The ban goes into effect in Chicago on April 1st. Under the ban, many products could be seized. An owner could face thousands of dollars in fines. Many feel banning the hemp business is extreme and has a negative impact on minority-owned establishments.
Cubs continue with spring training in Arizona. They wrapped up day 2 yesterday in Mesa. The Cubs are using their Game 5 loss in the NLDS last season as motivation for making another postseason run. High expectations for the Cubbies, including their stated goal of winning the World Series. All right, the Department of Homeland Security is just hours away now from running out of money.
Our Doug Luzader joins us live from Washington, D.C. this morning. So, Doug, what happened in these negotiations to where now DHS is potentially facing a shutdown?
Well, this happens at midnight tonight, and, we really saw the last vote in the Senate yesterday. Lawmakers have essentially left town now, so this is kind of a foregone conclusion that we're going to have a shutdown come midnight. How much of an impact will it have? It's difficult to say. It really depends on how long this goes. As far as immigration enforcement is concerned, ICE already has its funding pretty much locked in, so this is more a matter of affecting other agencies like TSA, Secret Service, Coast Guard, FEMA. I mean, there are a number of other agencies that can be affected here. Again, it depends on how long this goes, and there are apparently still some negotiations underway here to see if they can find some common ground on what to do about immigration enforcement, because that's been the real holdup here.
Doug, if it is a foregone conclusion and they're going to midnight's going to come and go without a deal, when could the next chance be to actually reach a deal here?
Well, you've got lawmakers out of town next week. We've got this Munich security conference going on, which gives a lot of lawmakers an excuse to go overseas on a big trip. So they're going to be a little bit out of touch for a little while, at least out of pocket for a little while. But leaders of both parties are saying they can get people back here pretty quickly if there is a deal. But that's a big if, and it's not clear where the give is going to be on this.
And Doug, if we do end up in this shutdown and it goes on for weeks at a time, what are some of the political outlook maybe down the line? Do you think this is something that voters will look towards once we get towards the midterms?
Well, I think what's interesting about this is just kind of the kind of how blasé everyone is about this around here. I mean, this is the third shutdown we've had in 5 months, something like that. These used to be rare. Now they're happening with a certain frequency, and not only are they frequent, this one is smaller than we generally see them play out. It's just the Department of Homeland Security. We say just, it's still a big department, and you have a lot of agencies here that can be affected as a result of this shutdown.
All right, we'll be looking to see what happens between now and midnight later tonight. Doug, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Minnesota leaders, they're speaking out after President Trump's border czar announces that he is ending the surge of ICE agents in Minnesota. Tom Homan believes that the state is now safer following the immigration enforcement operations. Those remarks come after 2 months of protests and the deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Following that announcement, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called out border czar and the Trump administration further actions in Minneapolis as well as across the state.
They left us with deep damage, generational trauma. They left us with economic ruin in some cases. They left us with many unanswered questions. Where are our children? Where and what is the process of the investigations into those that were responsible for the deaths of Renee and Alex?
He also thanked all of the Minnesota residents for what they've endured during the past 2 months.
Greenhouse gases emitted from cars, trucks, and power plants will no longer be federally regulated. The Trump administration is reversing an Obama-era ruling known as the endangerment finding. For nearly 2 decades, the federal government has regulated those emissions after the EPA determined that greenhouse gases do pose a threat to public health and could be regulated under the Clean Air Act. However, President Trump argues that the finding is unnecessarily expensive and threatens American energy dominance.
Under the endangerment finding, they forced the hated start-stop feature onto American consumers, which unnecessarily shuts off a car's engine when you stop at a red light.
The White House says the repeal will save Americans roughly $1.3 trillion. That is in part due to making new vehicles cheaper. However, critics argue that any short-term gains here ignore the long-term impact of climate pollution, the impact of greenhouse gases. The repeal is likely to face legal challenges since the Supreme Court affirmed that greenhouse gases are indeed air pollutants subject to the Clean Air Act.
Time's now 5:20 this morning. Finally made it to the weekend, fellas. So what's on tap for everybody making those Valentine's weekend plans, Mike?
Weather is not going to get in anybody's way, not at least around here. If you're traveling downstate, you may encounter some rain, but boy, what a run we are on, and it is going to continue. Looking at our satellite imagery with radar laid on top, nothing going on. A little bit of lake effect snow over there to our east and clear skies here. Plenty of sunshine ensuring a warm day. Here's the map. I've been sharing this now for days and days and days to give you an idea way down the line. This is February, so a week from tomorrow through the following Friday. And we're pretty much wrapping up the month of February, and the expectation is that for that week, above average temperatures are expected. Looking for a blast of Arctic air? No. 52 today, despite the kind of chilly start out there. Mostly sunny skies, just a spectacular Friday the 13th. Tonight we'll drop it down to 30. A few spots will get into the 20s again. It will be mainly clear, not much wind. Look at the 7-day forecast. Rare to string together 6 50s in a row. And in fact, a couple of these days, I think we can get to 60. I'm putting a 60 up on the board for Monday, President's Day, and again on Wednesday, despite the fact there could be a couple of rain showers around Tuesday night and Wednesday, and again on Thursday. Thursday, yeah, not as warm, but 48 degrees, still well above normal. Just in comparison with the next few days, it's going to feel a little bit cooler. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you very much, Mike. Yeah, everything's running smoothly right now. Everything in the green. I do want to let folks know, though, that 10 minutes ago, an accident happened on the inbound Dan Ryan, the local lanes inbound, right where it intersects with the Stevenson Expressway. This is exit 53. Now, it's not causing a backup because I don't think there are too many cars on the road just yet, but heads up there if you're coming in on 55 right as you get to downtown. Oh, I'm sorry, if you're coming in on the Dan Ryan Expressway right as you get to the Stevenson. Okay, your inbound ride on the Kennedy from O'Hare, 25 minutes. On the Eisenhower, you're at 23 minutes inbound from Route 390 to downtown. On the Stevenson, you're at 22. That is the ride time from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and it is only 17 minutes on the Dan Ryan. Just heads up as you get close to downtown.
Well, coming up, the city of Chicago celebrating milestones in some different areas.
Yes, we're going to go over some of these accomplishments right after the break.
before and after photos.
Welcome back. Chicago is having a moment. That is what Mayor Johnson told business leaders, and he says he has the numbers to prove this. More than 200 civic and business leaders attended the panel with Mayor Johnson. They were part of the Executives Club's Soul of Chicago program in River North, and the goal here is to change the narrative and show what is actually happening in Chicago. An $886 billion regional economy, the biggest quantum tech hub in the country, and homicides at a 60-year low. Those are all stats that Mayor Johnson put forward to the group here. Deputy Mayor Kenya Merritt put it in a way that really landed to the audience.
I think Chicago is having a renaissance right now. And so when we talk about success, and I know that you have the economic outlook, it's more than what you measure. It's what you feel.
Now we all know that one homicide and one shooting, one violent crime is one too many. But the truth of the matter is homicides are down. And we will not stop until Chicago is the safest, most affordable big city in America.
The panel also talked about Chicago winning half of all business relocation competitions the city enters right now. So that's pretty good. And a $7 billion development coming to the west side of the city.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah,
also looking forward to some major news in the weather department because it's going to be beautiful outside this weekend, Mike.
It's already been so nice this week. We had that one day it was close to 50 degrees. A few spots hit 50. Yesterday, a little cooler at the lakefront. That is not going to be the case today. 50s area-wide. There is still just a little bit of snow on the ground. Let's have a look at the map here. If you remember from yesterday and the day before, there was much more showing up here in Cook County. Still, a little bit here and there, but it's not that deep. We're looking at maybe an inch or so in a few spots. Let's tap here near Mundelein. That looks like maybe 2 inches there. I think that may be a stretch. It's more like an inch. Not far from O'Hare, maybe an inch on the ground. And of course, we have the plowed piles. The majority of the thicker snow showing up in parts of northwest Indiana. This is where you've got maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow or thereabouts still left on the ground. But we're going to chomp into that with temperatures like this. Let's go for 52 today. Mostly sunny skies. And unlike yesterday, where we had a distinct lakeside cooler, west much warmer, today it's uniformly low 50s across the area. The exception, Michiana, you will be only in the low to mid 40s. Look at the 7-day forecast. 6 days in a row, bless you, of 50 plus, including a couple of days where I think we can hit 60. Monday and Wednesday would be the best chances of hitting 60. A little bit of rain coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and again on Thursday as temperatures trend a little bit downward.
All right, make sure to stick around.
Yeah, that's right. We got more news, weather, traffic on Good Day Chicago. Right now, everything's in the green. Fortunately, continue to drive safe out there, and happy Friday morning. We will be right back. Welcome back. Right now on Good Day Chicago here on your Friday morning, we are following some breaking news out of the Bronzeville neighborhood. One person was hurt following a stabbing on a Green Line train.
And business owners coming together to urge Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the city's hemp ban.
And the Cubs continue with spring training in Arizona. They wrapped up day 2 yesterday in Mesa. Cubs are using that Game 5 loss in the NLDS last season as motivation for another postseason run. Hopefully it's a deep one. Mike Kaplan.
I'm ready. I'm ready. All right, look, they could play baseball here today. It's going to be so nice. It's chilly out there now, but we're headed for the 50s today with a long run of unseasonable warmth on the way. I'm counting on you, Mr. Ponce, to keep the traffic Friday light.
Okay, well, you know what? You're delivering in the weather department, so I'm going to do the same in the traffic department. You're in the green throughout Chicagoland as of 5:32 on your Friday morning. Now, one quick heads up. The 3 right lanes are blocked. On the inbound Dan Ryan, the local lanes inbound are blocked right where it intersects with the Stevenson Expressway. So there's a little bit of stop and go traffic there, but it's not snarling things just yet because there's not too many cars out on the road just yet on a Friday morning. On the Kennedy from O'Hare to downtown, that is a 26-minute ride. On the Eisenhower from Route 390 inbound to downtown, that's a 23-minute ride. On the Stevenson, you're at 24 minutes inbound from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And despite those lane closures on the local side of the inbound Dan Ryan, it's still only a 19-minute ride. Everything running smoothly on the Metra. Okay, some breaking news to get to this morning. A stabbing happened on the Green Line train.
Roseanne is live this morning at the 2nd District Police Station with the latest. Roseanne?
Well, the person who was stabbed on that train was stabbed in the face and is now in fair condition. Police saying that they first got the call about 10:45 Thursday night. Now, they responded to the Cottage Grove stop on the Green Line, and that's the 300 block of East 47th Street. They say a 44-year-old man was attacked by somebody with a sharp object, again, in the face, while he was on the train. The suspect took off. Police could be seen investigating on the platform. And at this point, we don't have any other details other than that, one man stabbed in the face and the person who took off. At the police station this morning, Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
Roseanne, real quick, there's been so much crime on the CTA lately. What is the status of that Federal Transit Administration order that, the feds came down pretty hard on the CTA saying we got to crack down or we're going to lose funding?
Right. I was wondering about that myself. It was December 19th, Anthony, when the Federal Transit Administration directed Chicago to do more. Now, to put it in perspective, they had just, the CTA that is, added more than 120 patrol officers and also some K-9 units on the train. And the federal government said it's not enough. You need to do more. They gave 90 days. So if they don't come up with another plan that's acceptable by mid-March, they are being threatened with losing about $50 million in federal funding.
That would definitely be a huge loss. We'll be seeing how the city of Chicago responds. Thanks so much, Roseanne. Well, elsewhere in the city, business owners, they're calling on Mayor Brandon Johnson to veto the ban on intoxicating hemp products. That ban goes into effect in Chicago starting April 1st. Under this ban, many products could be seized and the owners could face thousands of dollars in fines. Business owners said that they welcome both safety standards and regulations, but they feel banning the hemp business is extreme. It could have a negative impact on minority-owned establishments. The Hemp Coalition came together for a rally in order to make one final push to convince city leaders and the public to help them stay alive.
Our entire business would shut down, and that would be very unfortunate. And then we have our employees we'd have to lay off. And then there's other realities where, in my case, I have leases that I'm still obligated for. And being a small business, I can't just walk away from the leases.
Time after time, a lot of minority owners, a lot of small business owners get left behind and not even willing, and we're not even allow them a fair shot.
And business owners also believe that both alcohol and cannabis industries are trying to put them out.
The Cook County Public Guardian's Office is criticizing DCFS in the case of 8-year-old Markel Pierce. He is the boy who died in Round Lake Beach. His mom and her boyfriend are facing murder charges here and charges of child abuse. Prosecutors say that they engage in long-term patterns of both mental and physical abuse against Markel. DCFS claims that the family was not receiving any services and they could not provide any other info because of confidentiality issues. Cook County, the officials there at the Public Guardian's office, says their response is unacceptable and untrue.
DCFS's statement was very slippery, frankly. It said that the family was not receiving services in the present tense. Well, was it ever receiving services in the past? We don't know. DCFS won't respond. In terms of confidentiality, that is just not true. DCFS has explicit authority under the law to release information when a child that DCFS was involved with has died. DCFS is not being transparent. Why? I can't tell you, because we don't have the information.
According to Goldberg, there have been cases where DCFS has released a detailed timeline with its involvement with the family.
For nearly 2 weeks in, hundreds of detectives are now working on the missing Nancy Guthrie case, with investigators so far receiving thousands of tips. Investigators were back at Nancy Guthrie's home with what appeared to be video forensic analysis equipment. Officials may be trying to get some more clues from that cryptic surveillance video that was released earlier this week, showing a masked person right outside of her home.
Things we can see with the mask, like eyes, nose bridge, mouth shape, and of course the shape and depth of the face. The FBI uses all these things, including an analysis of height and weight, which I'm sure they have, to come up with the idea for a potential subject.
The Pima County Sheriff is asking neighbors with home surveillance cameras to send in their footage. Investigators are looking for anything. We're talking about cars, pedestrians, or anything out of the ordinary that they've seen between January 1st and February 2nd.
All right, controversy over building a new data center in the city of Aurora continues. City officials there invited the public to an open house to give residents a chance to review some proposed rules for data centers moving forward. Right now, there's a 180-day moratorium on building a new data center in the city. That temporary pause is set to expire on March 25th. Many residents have concerns about how much data centers use water, how much electricity they need, and how it'll impact their utility bills.
I think we just need to put some guardrails in place. And there are some examples of data centers that have looked at using water conservatively, or to try to install solar so that their energy isn't making a huge impact on the grid.
One proposal the city of Aurora may consider is having each new data center be approved through City Council's conditional use process.
A developing story we are following. The Department of Homeland Security is now heading towards a shutdown after lawmakers failed to pass a funding bill for the agency. The shutdown would impact TSA, the U.S. Coast Guard, FEMA, and other divisions. Senate Democrats are demanding immediate reforms to ICE operations and procedures, such as agents taking off their masks and identifying themselves. For Republicans, they proposed tying policy changes to funding bills, arguing that DHS and ICE should be funded without any conditions. Lawmakers have until the end of the day to avoid another partial government shutdown. Back here at home, this bright yellow billboard in Bucktown is offering a free burrito. Well, it has some people raising questions about safety, especially when it comes to drivers. In order to claim that offer, you would need to pull out your phone and scan that QR code. Many are worried that this could lead to distracted driving. This week on social media, a post about the ad sparked hundreds of interactions, with local officials starting to take notice. This situation just really begs the question, should QR codes be allowed on billboards?
This is super busy. In the morning, basically people going to work downtown or to the suburbs. It's a highway entrance right nearby. Obviously, we're starting to get contacted in a way that's like, hey, this could be a distraction. But the thing I would say to that is if it's not offensive, it's a free speech issue, then you as a driver have to be responsible for the way you drive. And pulling out your phone to take a QR code off this, on the screen is probably not responsible at all.
A representative for the restaurant spoke with Fox Chicago, saying that the ad was only supposed to be up there for a limited time, and it should have been taken down back in mid-January. They tell us that they've contacted the billboard company and asked for them to remove the sign.
And we all know that I am their target audience.
You are the burrito man.
I'm a big fan of burritos, and I'm an even bigger fan of free ones. But I don't want to put myself or my family at risk to get that QR code, so I understand.
Well, maybe you could walk along the roadway and take that QR code, but it sounds like they pulled the...
pull over safely before you scan
Put the blinkers on, get it...
Yeah, exactly. Just slow everybody's honking behind you, but you're getting that free dang burrito, aren't you? All right, we have beautiful weather on the way today. My gosh, it is going to feel more like April here this afternoon. But this morning, give the kids the winter coat. It is still cold out there. It'll be 28 degrees here around 7. But look how quickly we're in the 40s and way into the 40s. By noon, 47. And during the afternoon, we're going to be in the low 50s. Plenty of sunshine out there. Kids will probably be carrying the coat. Certainly going to be unzipped on the drive home. 27 now at Midway. 22 at Woodstock. I mean, you're still looking at some chilly temperatures here. Even as far south as Morris, where it's 21 degrees. Northwest Indiana, lots of 23s and 24s there. Benton Harbor, cold spot. 15 degrees there in Berrien County. There's not much wind, but the direction coming out of the south. Later today, it will be out of the southwest. I think that is going to be enough to prevent what happened yesterday, and we talked about this. It ended up being cooler along the lakefront. That's not going to be the case today. I think we push those 50s all the way to the beaches, so to speak. It will be a little bit cooler in parts of northwest Indiana, southwest Michigan, but even there, you cannot be complaining in Berrien Springs or Niles, Michigan about a 41. Lots of sunshine on the way today. Skies are going to be clear, maybe a few high clouds. That'd be it. 52 for the high. Not a record, but we'll take it. Southwest winds 5 to 15. Tonight, right around 30, give or take. Southwest winds at 3 to 6, clear to partly cloudy skies. 6 days in a row of at least 50-degree temperatures, including Valentine's Day and on Sunday. We'll be a little bit cooler near the lake both days. Monday, when kids are probably off school for President's Day, 60. 55 on Tuesday. Tuesday night to Wednesday, a couple of scattered showers, but I don't think enough to get us out of the low 60s on Wednesday. It's not as warm Thursday. The high only 48 degrees. 5:44. We'll be right back after this.
Minnesota leaders speaking out after President Trump's border czar announces that the end of the surge of ICE agents in Minnesota. Border czar Tom Homan believes that the state is now safer following the immigration enforcement operations. Those remarks come after 2 months of protests and the deadly shootings of 2 U.S. citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy. Following that announcement, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called out the border czar and the Trump administration for their actions in Minneapolis and across the state.
They left us with deep damage, generational trauma. They left us with economic ruin in some cases. They left us with many unanswered questions. Where are our children? Where and what is the process of the investigations into those that were responsible for the deaths of Renee and Alex?
Governor Walz also thanked all of Minnesota residents for what they've endured during the past 2 months.
Greenhouse gases emitted from cars, trucks, and power plants will no longer be federally regulated. The Trump administration is reversing an Obama-era ruling known as the endangerment finding. For nearly 2 decades now, the federal government has regulated those emissions after the EPA determined that greenhouse gases pose a threat to public health and could be regulated under the Clean Air Act. However, President Trump has argued that this finding is unnecessarily expensive, that it's a big overreach, and it also threatens American energy dominance.
Under the endangerment finding, they forced the hated start-stop feature onto American consumers, which unnecessarily shuts off a car's engine when you stop at a red light.
The White House says the repeal will save Americans roughly $1.3 trillion. That is in part due to making new vehicles cheaper to build. But critics argue that any of these short-term financial gains will ignore the long-term impact of climate pollution. The repeal is likely to face legal challenges since the Supreme Court did affirm that greenhouse gases are air pollutants subject to the Clean Air Act.
Coming up, it is Chicago Black Restaurant Week.
Yes, indeed. We will have details about that event right after the break.
anywhere.
All right, the city of Chicago apparently is having a moment. That is the phrasing that Mayor Johnson used for an audience of business leaders. He says he's got numbers to prove this. More than 200 civic and business leaders attended a panel with Mayor Johnson. They're all part of the Executives Club Soul of Chicago program in River North. The goal here is to change the narrative and show what is actually happening in terms of achievements in Chicago. All right, so here we go with some stats. An $886 billion regional economy, the biggest quantum tech hub in the country, and homicides at a 60-year low, all according to Mayor Johnson. The panel also talked about Chicago winning half of all business relocation competitions that the city enters right now, and a $7 billion development, which is coming to the west side.
Well, we got some great weather this weekend. If you're looking to get out, it is Chicago Black Restaurant Week. It'll last through February 22nd, and of course coincides with Black History Month. For some local chefs, this year has a little bit more meaning.
So important that y'all get out here and support us, not just Soul Prime, but there's so many other restaurants, and we're just delighted. We're grateful to be a part of this.
These businesses deserve it, and you're going to eat good and drink good and whatever else good. Grab your cronies, get everybody out, and let's just eat.
You pointed that out earlier, Mike. Yes, that chicken and waffles does look good, right? You can learn more about some of the Chicago Black restaurants by visiting our website at fox32chicago.com or use the Fox Local app. If you're thinking about getting out, so whether it was Soul Prime, and I think we were at the Duplex or another restaurant on there, it's going to be some beautiful weather no matter where you decide to go this weekend, Mike.
Yeah, I wonder whether, some of these places might even try to open up some patio dining options, right? Yeah. Ooh, look at everything looks so good here. Oh, my gosh. And, of course, in my home county, it's the February Flavor Festival's going on. So I'm going to be taking advantage of that coming up here. We have just glorious weather. This has been a nice stretch of days. It's going to get even warmer starting today. We have clear skies out there right now, and that's going to continue throughout the day. Let's look at our Weather Authority Futurecast. There is a storm track way to the north, and there's a storm track to our south. All week long, I've been saying this thing is going to miss us to the south, and it is. It'll impact central and southern Illinois and Indiana. It's a rainmaker. Could even be some pretty big thunderstorms south of that warm front. But for us, it's a miss. May even miss out on much in the way of cloud cover here this weekend. I'm going to go a little bit cloudier tomorrow than Sunday, but certainly on Sunday, we're going to see plenty of sunshine and temperatures well above normal. In fact, I'll just keep sharing this map as long as it's got us in orange colors. This is the extended temperature outlook. Where is it likely to be above normal? Highest confidence of that is in this kind of bright crimson color there. But we are likely to stay warmer than normal for the last week of February here. And that would mean through the end of meteorological winter. 52 today. Southwest winds, mostly sunny skies. Gorgeous out there. Tonight down to 30. Few suburbs in the upper 20s. Mostly clear skies, though, and not much wind. We get to 54 tomorrow, cooler at the lake. 55 on Sunday. I think Sunday is the sunnier of the 2 days this weekend. President's Day, 60. We'll be in the mid to upper 50s on Tuesday, and then another 60-degree day for Wednesday, despite the fact we'll see a few scattered showers, especially in the morning. Another chance for some light rain showers on Thursday with a high temperature of, quote-unquote, only 48 degrees. How about three lovely photos that came in via the Fox 32 weather app? Blake Poloni showing us the sunset over Hoffman Estates. Now, that looks like he had pretty much snow there. Not sure when you took that picture, Blake, but a gorgeous sky. I would imagine there's not much snow left there in the northwest suburbs, but definitely had it in the fields there when you took that picture. Photo number 2. We're going to Lynchburg, Tennessee. Look at that little hill in the background. Christine Bro. I think that's how I would pronounce it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a French twist there, Christine. Hopefully you didn't get that much ice there in Lynchburg, Tennessee, but it certainly looks like maybe spring in the near offing there. They've had temperatures in the 70s in Tennessee recently. And our final photo this hour comes to us from our LaSalle County Bureau Chief. I like to refer to Kevin Christensen. He's giving us a look at the Marseilles sunrise. Kevin, if you go out there again in about an hour, I bet it's going to look exactly the same. Gorgeous, clear skies. Thank you all for sharing your pictures. If you got a nice one on your camera roll that you'd like to see here on Fox 32, send it via the app. Include your name. Tell us what town you took the picture in. It is 5:57. We'll be right back.